Hello, my friends. This is Paula, and I am back today. Finally, I feel like it's been forever, but it hasn't. It's just I've been sick, and so when you're away from your craft table, it's like, what? It seems like it's been forever. So I want you to know that I'm back here tonight to do the completion of this double envelope. We did it in 4 different colors. I hope you can see these designs. These papers are just beautiful. And I'm going to be doing a botanical book again here pretty quick. Not just tomorrow, but real soon. And I want us to finish this. We took 2 envelopes. I just kind of a recap here. Oh, and I'm also want to say I'm sorry that the last part 1 just ended so abruptly. I was in the middle of talking and boom. I didn't even know it till later that day or that night that it had stopped. And anyway, so I apologize for that, and I've not had that happen before. Okay, so I'm looking for my second envelope here so I can just give you a quick reminder that we had 2 craft envelopes, the large ones. They are 8 1/4 by 6 1/4. I can never remember those measurements. Okay, so I just took them and just like everybody does, slid the flap of number 2 envelope up under and glued it. Leaved a little bit of a space for the fold right here. And then just covered the 4 sides. And I did cover up past this triangle that goes down on the back of the envelope. And then we just started decorating. Now, I did punch 2 half circles on these 2 sheets of paper when I put them on. I covered the flap by laying it down over the paper and tracing around. The flap on both sides has the same paper. And each rectangle has a different paper, but from the same color paper pack. Okay, so now we're going to get busy decorating the putting the pockets. So we cut out some pockets, and we cut the pockets out at 4 by 3.5. 4 by 3.5. Okay, so I know right away that these don't go here because they're the same color. So they're going to go on the outside. So let's go ahead and put them on first. Make sure you have this in the upright position. And if you notice, there's no pockets back here. No little punches here. So we're going to add pockets here. And I am trying to do opposite peach and green. So this way, you know that they'll stand out and you'll be able to notice that your pockets are there. Now, I think a cute touch would be to stitch around these pockets. And I didn't prepare to do that today, but looking at it now, I wished I'd done it before we came on camera so it wouldn't be such a big deal to unload my sewing machine. So I'm not going to do that, but you would have to stitch the pocket before you glue it down. I'm sitting here thinking, why not? We have time. Let me move my stuff over here, and I'm just going to grab my sewing machine and pull it over next to me. That's one thing nice about my sewing machine is that it sits right here. And that makes life a whole lot easier for me. Okay, so I'm thinking a zigzag stitch would be the best. And so I'm going to go ahead and let you watch. Hold on. Woo! Sorry if that's too crazy for you. I'll pull it over as much as I can. Okay. Now we're going to do zigzag, and I'm just going to start on the top right of the pocket. And get that down in here. The only thing about doing a zigzag stitch is you have to tie them off. So you know what? I don't want to spend all that time tying off zigzag. So let's go with just straight lines. Sorry about that. It just is so much faster when you don't have much time. And it's not that we don't have that much time. It's just, it will just take longer to, so you want to back stitch there at the beginning. We're going to do all 4 of these while we've got them, while we've got the machine out. It is the same color, so it does kind of blend in, but when you see it in person, it looks so much better. You guys know how that works, right? Now, get ready here. We're going to back stitch. Okay. Now, going to go ahead and lay this one down. We're going to end up gluing the little strips of peach right on them as soon as I get all 4 of these pockets stitched. Okay. Now on this gray background, it has gray with peach flowers and green mint leaves with, I believe it's gold or rose gold, I'm not sure which, on the center of the flowers. I hope you guys have had a great weekend. I have spent most of my weekend not feeling great. But hey, I'm alive. I got a stomach bug of some sort, and there's nothing worse. And so Rick had to work to finish up a job, that electrical job that he did, and oh my goodness, it's just been one of those weekends. Now, I don't know if you can notice that corner right there kind of bent over, but that's all right. Okay, so we have those 2 done. Let's bring out the other 2 and get those done, and that way we'll have them both done. I've got to take a drink. I'm sorry. I haven't had much to eat or drink today. I've been drinking to stay hydrated. But other than that, I haven't had much to drink. So my mouth will get all dry if I don't keep fluids down me. And I can't visit with you. I just got up from a very long nap, and I do feel much better. Thank you. Anyway, thank you to all the new subscribers. I appreciate you tuning in and having some fun with us. I try to do a video every day, and once in a while I'll do 2 in a day, but pretty much I'm lucky to get my 1 uploaded and 1 done in a day. Keeps me pretty busy. I'm retired, and this is the fun I've been waiting to have all these years. And so if you would have asked me even 2 years ago if I were going to do a YouTube channel, I would have laughed at you and said no way. But my husband convinced me, and my daughter convinced me, and here you go. This is what you get. They've told me for years and years that, of course, my daughter has always called me an artist. She's every bit as much an artist, but she and her father convinced me to be on a YouTube channel. I was very nervous in that first video. I don't know if you've noticed. Don't let it be what you consider the channel to be, because it's not. It gets way better with time. And actually, it only took me 2 or 3 times before I wasn't nervous. So if you're out there and your dream is to be able to share your talent or your art with someone, whether it's junk journal, scrapbooking, card making, whatever it is, do it. Take a chance. They can't see you. So you can go to work at your little desk without any makeup on, and just wearing your PJs. And man, if we could have done that all the years that we worked, you know, I'm saying that for us retired people. And you think to yourself, man, why did I wait so long to have so much fun? Now we're gonna stitch around these journaling cards in a little bit. So I'm gonna put those to the side still though. Now I'm gonna bring you back in here. Sorry, I hope that my phone don't come popping out of there. Whoops, sorry. You know, you think you're going to do something without any problem, and bam, things change. Okay, so these go on the other side, so I'm going to set them to the side, and we're going to do those first. Now, I'm just going to take the Fabri-Tac and put these little strips on first. Let me move this up a little bit so you can see. Okay, and hopefully my glue will cooperate today. It doesn't take long for it to get at that stubborn stage. Okay. All right. Now I would only put it down about 3/4 inch or 1 inch at the most. And it might hang over a little, and that's okay. Just make it hang over on both sides. Okay, now while we've got that one, we're just going to glue it down. Now, I suggest you stay just at the stitch. Don't go out to the edge anymore, because you'll end up with glue joining the party. Okay, I'm looking here to make sure I didn't miss a spot. Okay. Alrighty. Now I would bring it down because we're going to have tags in this section, but just center it from side to side and from the bottom about equally. Okay, now let's move on to pocket number 2. So I don't really have a lot to tell you, except, you know, that has been my life the last 3 days. Oh my word. And then so I didn't go anywhere really to speak up this weekend. I did go to Hobby Lobby on Friday. Thought I was doing better, so I thought I'm going to go to Hobby Lobby. I needed a couple things. And while I'm in Hobby Lobby, we have a tornado warning. Take shelter, you know, it's ringing on everybody in the store's phone, and the manager locks the doors and makes everybody go back to the craft room and the break room. We had both of them full. So I'm like, man, I could be at home doing my thing. But after I got out of there, it took about 40 minutes, I guess. After I got out of there, it was raining so bad that I thought I wasn't even going to be able to see to drive. So I can imagine it had been a lot worse while we were in there. And they had several tornadoes here in Oklahoma on Friday. So, yeah, crazy. Crazy, crazy. Now, I want this to be straight, because if it's laid out like this, it needs to be straight. So I'm going to line up my T-ruler next to this pocket so I can make sure that the other one is in the same spot. And again, you want to make sure it's centered on both sides. Cute, right? I just love to do color scheme on things, you know, like bounce the different colors around. And It just is fun. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing here. So I incorporated the dotted peach color because, you know, we didn't have him anywhere else. I'm calling it him. I don't know whether it is or not. Okay, let's go ahead and get this one on here. Now, this is the only one that's going to kind of blend a little bit, but that's no biggie. So on the inside, you're going to have two, you're going to have two pockets on top of the two pockets. Let's get this over here and line it up so it's straight. Okay. Okie doke. Now we're going to make tags to fit the pockets. I'm looking here to see if I actually brought enough tags over here, and I didn't. I thought I cut out two and had two for us to make together. I'll just have to step behind me and grab the other one. I know where the paper is. I had put it up because I've been working on a custom order, and I was like, what did I do? I'm running out of space, guys. I know you guys feel the same way in your craft rooms, I'm sure. It's like every time I go to a vintage shop, I have to come home and figure out where I'm going to put it. It's crazy. All right, so space it out evenly on all three sides. Oh, I think a little bit of glue came out that time. Let's just let it kind of stay there till I'm done. So I thought instead of doing tags for the big side pockets, we would do journaling cards. So I took two Project Life cards that had gray, like a gray trim on them, so it'd just be cleaner when it came time. I'm going to line this up with the pocket next door. Okay. Just make it the same around. Think we got it. Push this down. And yeah, we got some glue there too. Shocker. Now on these journaling cards, I've inked everything in this project. Now the journaling cards are not inked, but I can ink them after the fact. But yeah, let me grab the other tags. I thought I had 4 tags here. I planned this out so nicely. Why is it? I'm trying to get my shoe on. I'm sorry. I kicked them off to do the video. All right. I will grab that right now, which is just right behind me. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, this one's going to have a closure. And at this point, you would want to make your closure, okay? You would punch 3 circles this size. Say this would be your main circle. And then you could do 3 craft circles. Just punch out a total of 3 or 4. And have 1 decorative one on top. Get it glued down really even. And make sure it's all smooth around the sides. When it dries, punch a small hole and get a small brad to match your color scheme. Now, I've already done that so that it would have time to dry. I used a 7/8 inch hole punch, but you could use whatever size you like. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get the tags done before we get the journaling cards done, because I mean, we don't even have to sew those on camera because you guys know how to sew a journaling card. All right, so let's do these tags and let me show you how they ended up. I know you've all had pages in your paper pads that have strips of all the different prints, and maybe one will say something like this one says hello friend, and it has all the different colors in the paper pad. Now this one's not in our project and the one on the bottom isn't, but one very close is. So I just want to show you, I punched them out at 2.5 inches, or wait a minute, 2.25 inches wide. And the height is 6 3/4. Okay, and then I rounded the corners up here. Then I used my tag punch to make the oval opening. And these are going to slide right in like this into your pocket. But right now I'm taking it out, and you'll want to ink these and add a trim at the top. Now we hadn't got to that part yet, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring my cutting board over for a minute and bring it down where you can see. I drew these, I made one and then I drew them off onto the paper. Okay, now I just drew one, traced it 3 other times, okay, and that way I knew I'd have exact size, exact look, and so forth. And then all you have to do is cut down your line here on your trimmer. Now I was going to do my tags with the bottom, with curves on the bottom, but I changed my mind. Okay, good grief, one little piece didn't cut. Let me get that. Okay, now I'm going to take my corner punch and I'm going to punch it right here. And then I have a punch that I got on Amazon, and it's called the Punch Pouch. No, I'm sorry, Punch Bunch. And has this little fish here. And it has these 4 different little, and it doesn't tell you who it's by, so I guess this is the company's name. But you can scroll through there and find all kinds of punches, and this is just an oval one. It will punch a circle and an oval. Okay, so we're going to line this up on the rounded side. We want to get it even as you can. I try every time, and I'm not always, I don't get it perfect every time, but there you go. Okay, now we have 2 more to make like that, and I've already got them drawn off, so let's just cut them really fast and go from there. I'm going to skip inking them for video purposes, so you don't have to be bored out of your mind, but this way they're all ready. Hole punch the top. Not hole punch. Do the corner rounder on the top of them. All right, and now we're going to bring up our punch bunch. Center for the oval shape. And that's not perfect. And see, it looked perfect to me. There you go. What's that tell you? Okay. That one's more perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to move this punch board out of my punch board. I'm going to move that board trimming board out of my way. Okay, so these are ready. Okay, the 4 tags, except for inking and tying the top on them. I'm going to use seam binding that I colored another color. And as you can see, it's a pretty good match. So I'm going to wait and do all the seam binding at one time. Put these to the side. These are drying. And we're going to stitch our journaling paper, our project life card here on the back of this. And then we'll probably make some kind of little tab for right here, or whatever you need. The thing is you got to make sure it's flush when you have it all the way down into your pocket. Because if you don't, you can't do anything that sticks up past the flap. So probably, you know, whatever is just the right height to stick up. And I recommend something like seam binding. So if you're going to stitch around this journaling card, you're going to need to not put your glue all the way to the end. And that's what I'm going to do. Is just put glue in the middle. And then slide it on here. Make it nice and even on all 4 sides. Make sure it's all stuck down. And then just make sure you've got it all where it needs to be. Now I'm also going to round these corners, which does make it a little tricky for, I'm going to round 2 of them at least. I just got to decide if I want to do both of them. I'm thinking like that would be cool into the book. So let's just do 2, and that will be, the rounded would be the top also, okay? Now, I'm just going to do this card the same way. You know, this is very simple. And it's, when you're working on it, it's a lot of fun to make. Now, you could change this up a lot. You know, to your liking. Like you could put, instead of putting pockets, you could put paper, like you could put a stack of paper here. I wouldn't do it on the outside personally, but I mean, you could do it however you like it. But you can just add, you can add more than 2 envelopes. You could do it like a trifold. You could do, you know, anything you like. You're the boss. So I think what I'm going to do on these, I don't know if these will fit in my, I'm going to hole punch the top 2 corners. And I'll stitch these off camera and ink them off camera. I don't want to bore you guys to death. But anyway, I'm going to try bringing this punch back out. I do not know if it will hook under here evenly. Well, yeah, it will. What do you know? We'll just see if it turns out even. Because I do want to add some, a little bit of sari silk on there, just so it sticks up and the person knows the cards are there. When I make something, I'm always thinking, you know, are they going to know that that's there or not know that it's there? And I'm always trying to come up with a way to make it work. Okay, so now we're going to put these in this pocket, or actually vice versa, because I like to put the opposite color in this pocket here. Now, where you see this hole punch right here at the top, see, still has to be down, but if you have silk on it, I mean seam binding on it, you can just put it right in there. And here's the second one. Do it the same way, and it fits perfect in here. A Project Life card fits perfect in here, which is like a 4x6. Okay, so now we're going to turn it around, and we're going to put our tags in here. Now, this is very simple, nothing fancy about it. You just have to, so I'm going to fold it over, put this one here. You're going to have a little bit of bulk, but everything is pretty much flat. And so we're going to get our closure. Now you can make this in the smaller size too. So if you want to slip it in a pocket or something like that, you could use a smaller size. Now I used Sari Silk to wrap the one I made before. This is the one I made as my sample a long time ago. And as you can see, I just used different birds on here and just used vellum. And of course, this is out of style now, but it looked good at the time. And I just stapled the vellum down and just, yeah. And on this one, I didn't even make journaling cards. So I just wanted to remember how to make it. Now, one mistake I did notice I made on the inside where you have the two pockets, when you fold this in over like this, you'll look at the inside of the flap, and I thought, what did I do different? Well, when you put this closure on here, this circle closure I told you about, right here, I forgot to punch it ahead of time. So what I did before was I covered it with this front paper, punched it, put my brad in, put my circle in, and then covered it. So if you look here, you can see that the brad is underneath that paper. Here, there is no brad to be seen, and I'm hoping that I can just punch it and get it the first time. So I decided to use this stripe on top of the tag to kind of bring it into on the top here to do my closure. Now I know I physically cannot punch a hole in here, so let me get my hole punch right here and hope that it physically can. It will. I brag about it. Let's hope it does. Okay, so I recommend you mark exactly where you want it. I've gotten myself in too much trouble doing these things. You just want it to be up the center. Use a 1/8 punch is what I used. If you're using anything bigger, that's fine. You just have to have a bigger brad. Okay, here we go. So what I'm going to do, since I don't want the brad to show on the other side, is take this same paper that we have covered on here, take a circle, and after we put the brad in, we're going to place it over here. I don't like that as well, but that's the choice we have since I made a boo-boo. But almost always you can fix any kind of mistake in paper crafting. Now, I had my little brad right here. I got a peach color. Now, you want to not tighten this so tight that you can't get any kind of seam binding or whatever underneath here. Now, this does not have a super long head on it. This small one doesn't. But it will work fine, especially if you glued it down correct underneath your flap like we were supposed to do. But I just got excited, just started making it. So I would just push it down the best you can. Make sure that your whatever, Sari Silk, muslin, whatever you're going to use, seam binding, whatever it's going to be, will fit around the loop of your circle. So this is so thin that, see, even though I got it tight, it won't go under there. So I've got to loosen it a little bit. Before you cover it, you want to know it's going to work. And hopefully I pulled out enough seam binding to put on everything. Okay, so let's see if I can loosen that a little bit. Now see, you want this to move around, okay? And what I did is I just took it and tied it underneath, or tied it around this and left it like that. Let me get it under there. It's still kind of tight, but you can get it under there. Just got to work at it. And we want it to put it up under there as straight as you can, so you'll have room to tie it off. And you know, I know my big old hands are in the way, but I've got to get them up there to get it tied. And so, yeah, I just tied a knot. Now, you can tie a knot and leave it at that, or you can try to slide it down under that. Now, I'm going to do a double knot because I don't want it to come apart on anybody. But honestly, if you put a double knot on it and just leave it on the outside, this is how it's going to look. Now, you can string it across, which I think looks the best, or you can do it that way. It's up to you. But I just take it like this, and you just want it to wrap around there one full time and then tuck under the string. Now, obviously, this is way more than we need. But if you do it on the bottom, you can see your closure better. And this is what you end up with. Now, if you want it to look more like a pouch and not have this pocket on the front, that's great. I mean, it could be solid. It could have been this color, solid on the front. And then you would have had your journaling card there and your journaling card on the other spot. And then you would have still had plenty of closure. So, yeah, there we go. That one is tied. Now, we got to go back. Go ahead and trim it the length you want it at that point because it's on there. And now you can tighten this as much as you want. But listen, if you're going to wrap it around and hook it back around the circle, you don't want it too awfully tight. Because, you know, I'm going to go ahead and ink this one before I glue it down because it will be very difficult to ink once it's put down. Okay, so I'm just going to put glue. I'm trying not to stick it right in the middle of the brad because, you know, but I'm going to put it around the brad neatly so that it doesn't ooze out too much from our circle that we're putting down here. And I think I'm going to have to add a little bit around the outside of this circle because this side is not going to be the side that needs to be exposed. This is hiding the ugly. That's what I call this. And it won't look as good as if you had done it the other way. Yeah. This has been such a drab day for my husband and I. I felt lousy and he is exhausted. He worked day and night. He didn't get home till after 10 last night. And he went over there at like 7 or something, 7:30 or 8. So he was really tired. So then the next thing we'll do, see how nicely that glued down? It's still very flat. If you look at it from this side, you can see it's very flat. So either way is okay. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and tie some Sari Silk in the tags because I can ink with those, you know, there's not a big deal doing that. So I want to see how much I use here so I can just cut all 4 of them to be the same size. I don't like it to be super long. not only is it a waste, it just doesn't look as good. I just like to tie a knot and be done with it. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to tie your trim onto your tags. Now I'm going to cut all 4 real quick. And that way I also make sure I have plenty. I don't remember if I have more than this or not. I think I do. Who knows? Who knows? It's not what I'd call a perfect measurement, but at least I'm measuring a little bit, right? Okay. All right. Now we'll tie those in to our tags. At the top, I just make them even at the top. Make 2 ties and make it into a knot. I tie it down toward the front of the card or the tag. I look at it and decide, is that too long? Is that too short? I don't know about you guys. I've been watching Gail do one of those altered books, and it looks like a lot of fun. We may have to make an altered book on our channel too. It looks a lot of fun. So, but she's been doing the whole thing on camera. And I don't know if that'd be too boring after just watching it, but I'm going to attempt it. I might not do every single page because I don't want to bore you guys. You guys let me know what you think. I think everybody's take on it would be different as far as making one. Let me get the rest of these tags. That's the thing is, as the person on the YouTube video, you watch your favorites too, you know. I try to watch all kinds, but it's hard when you're making them. But anyway, you get so inspired by that person that you want to try it while it's fresh in your mind. Okay. I'm just cutting the trim because one thing about seam binding is it does kind of fray if you pull on it. Like this side looks like it's pretty much okay, but I don't like it having a different tail. So there's those 2. Now let's try putting some on the journaling cards that still need to be stitched. Now see, if you don't stitch and put some Sari silk or something under there, they're going to slide so far down that you won't be able to see them. And that's a good reason to put the trim on there. Oh, I don't want to do that because I got to sew, but I'll show you what it will look like. I'm going to sew this off camera so you guys don't have to sit and watch me go through every little process that you just saw. But they'll stick up like this, and then when you reach into the pocket, you'll feel this and pull it out. Okay? All right, guys. Well, I hope that you had fun making what I call an envelope folio. I don't know a better name for it. Do you? If you wanted, you could hang a little key or something that has weight on the end of your seam binding so that when you tuck it under, it'll dangle. But I'll tell you, it's not going to be necessary with this particular book. give you a look at it here and here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I plan on coming back and doing a video. I do want to show you what else I did off camera. I got off the subject, I'm sorry. These are for those of you that are using the Target seed packs. Some of them have windows, some of them don't. I took one with a window and two without windows and covered them with just a digital that I had printed wrong. It was smaller. Didn't get it quite centered, but you see what I'm doing here. You can put a floral for like a botanical, and I might use this in my botanical. I'll have to doodle on out and make this look right and add some different things to it. But so this is what I did, is I covered everything. And if you use your paper right, you'll cut some of them off in order to make it the right length. But it'll give you some floral on each portion. And you have pockets underneath. I don't know. Yeah, 3 different pockets on the inside. So that was fun too. I just kind of couldn't sleep one night, and I came in here and piddled with that because I had thought about it earlier. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Hello to all new subscribers. I appreciate you joining us. I hope you have fun. Leave me a comment. Let me know you're new. And come along, watch us learn different little paper projects and make journals on a regular basis. Talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.